In this 8th grade Equations and Expressions standard, students must know and apply the properties of integer exponents to generate equivalent numerical expressions. That can be a mouthful for adults as well as 8th graders. Some students at the middle school level start to get lost in the details, especially if they haven't mastered previous concepts. So in my proficiency scale, as much as possible, I try to align the current grade level standard with content from previous grade levels. You'll see level 1, I can write and evaluate expressions with exponential notation. Then I'm going to give students an example to remind them of things they've already seen that are going to help them this year. At level 2, I can apply properties of operations to expand expressions. And then level 3, I can use properties of exponents to create equivalent expressions. So as we go through each level with some example problems, I make sure that students understand the language and the vocabulary as well. You can decide if you're going to use these problems as an introduction to your new standard for the year, or if you want to use these problems as a pretest, you can have your students write them on a piece of paper one at a time, see how much they can do with the problems, and turn them into you at the end so you have an idea of how to plan the rest of your instruction for this standard. At level 1, I would give students a problem like this, something they would have seen in 6th grade. They have to evaluate the expression. They're probably going to know what that is. With exponential notation, they're going to see 5 to the power of 3 and 2 to the power of 4. The use of parentheses, brackets, or braces will also tell you if the students remember some of those order of operations skills from 5th and 6th grade, and if they can apply them correctly to this problem. Make sure that they've identified that there's 4 different operations here and that the order matters. You can see if they come up with the right answer. In the description for this YouTube video, I have all the answers listed for you, so don't stress out about that. Just make sure your students don't see them first. After they have a few minutes to try that problem, you can show them level 2. Properties of operations to expand or simplify expressions means that students know how to combine or simplify the coefficients for each exponent. 3 to the 3rd power times 3 to the 2nd power, x to the 7th power divided by x to the 4th power. Give this as a sample problem to your students and see who remembers what to do. This is a little simpler than what they'll be asked to do this year because at the level 3, students will show that they've mastered every combination of exponents and expressions. So in this example, students are going to see variables with positive and negative exponents in expressions where they have to multiply and divide. Now, I don't have an example here of dividing with a negative exponent, but that is something else you could throw in the mix. See if your students have mastered this level. If they're able to do every combination of problems with positive and negative exponents, then your students have really mastered the grade level standard, and you can be confident that they're ready to move on to a challenge. Now, level 4 is not something I give every student. I might give it to my gifted or advanced students, but only after they prove that they've mastered grade level skills. So as an extension, I might have them use the properties of exponents to create equivalent expressions, maybe coming up with a variety of expressions, maybe applying the expressions to real-world problems or coming up with their own problems. There's a lot of creative and fun things you can do at level 4. Here's an example of a level 4 problem. Write a paragraph or create a poster that explains how to quickly simplify expressions with exponents. This means students would have identified the rules for multiplying and dividing, multiplying with negative exponents, and dividing with negative exponents. Basically, you're looking to see if they can minimize the instruction to one sentence. adding positive integers in multiplication, subtracting positive integers in division, or figuring out what combination of operations they need for negative exponents. This is a good exercise to extend the thinking of your higher level students and make sure they can apply this standard at a different level. Hopefully this has given you some really good ideas about how to use a scale in your classroom and how to introduce a new standard to students so that you can access their background knowledge and help them build some confidence for the expectations of a new year. I would love to hear your ideas, your comments, your questions, or how you use scales in your classroom. If you would like to see more standards, you can go to mrslleveledlearning.com. I have a freebies tab where you can find links and downloads for free samples of posters and assessments with questions already created for you. My assessments include multiple questions for each level of the scale so that you have documentation that your students have mastered each level. I hope you have found this helpful, and I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for your time.